and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to sit down and finally record this video. Mostly for y'all, but a little bit for me because this is the #1 question or topic that I'm asked about, and I have spent hours and hours responding to emails, sitting down for coffee with people, so I thought it would be great if I could just like dump all of my thoughts into this video and hopefully it will help you guys. So what we're sharing today are my top 10 tips for growing your blog. So if you clicked on this video, either you're just beginning your blogging journey or you're a little ways into it and you're wondering why you're not growing as fast as it seems like most people are. I blog a little bit differently or use different practices than some other bloggers do, so what works for me might not work for you and vice versa. But I want to share in the last 5.5 years of blogging what has worked best for me to grow my blog. So if you guys are interested in learning more, let's get into it. All right, first and foremost, blog about what you're passionate about. I cannot stress this enough. Most people are starting a blog when they have a full-time job. So they are spending their spare time, they're taking away from nights, they're taking away from weekends, they're taking away from vacations, etc. So if you're going to be spending and investing this amount of time into what begins as a hobby for all of us, then you need to be beyond passionate about what you are talking about. Unfortunately, blogging is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I know it might seem like it, and I hate to break it to you guys, but an influencer's job is to make it look easy. It is not easy. So if you are going to dedicate a ton of time to a hobby in the beginning, because it's going to take years to grow it and be able to bring it full time, unless you are a magical unicorn, be sure that you will love the topic that you are going to be talking about. For me, I was working full-time in NASCAR, and I had a closet full of super girly clothes and absolutely nowhere to wear them to because we were spending our spare time at the racetrack, and I traveled on weekends. So I wanted to share my style with the world, connect with like-minded people, and I have always loved writing, so it was just a big combination of things that I was passionate about, and that is why I began my blog. So once you have determined that you are so passionate about something that you want to spend all of your spare time working on it and growing it and talking about it and networking, you need to define your niche. You have got to figure out what sets you apart, because right now the industry is so oversaturated that if you are coming in here like every other fashion blogger, you are not going to be able to turn this into a career. There are just too many people right now. As for Cortney Session, as you guys can see, my style is very colorful. Everything I'm shooting is full of color, full of bright imagery. You'll very rarely see neutrals, blacks. You'll never see a nighttime photo. And it's just happy. Like, I kind of like to define it as Easter Sunday every single day. Just really southern, happy, colorful style. So once you have defined your niche and figured out what sets you apart, you need to brand the crap out of your blog and your social media channels. Now, there are a number of ways to do this, but I personally suggest investing in Lightroom and Photoshop. You can go to adobe.com. I think you can download the two as a bundle for like $9.99 a month. And I would use your spare time to learn Lightroom and Photoshop. There are a ton of YouTube videos, but really you've just got to get in there and start tinkering around and you'll figure it out. Because in Lightroom, there are presets, and you can put these presets onto your photos, and every one of your photos can be filtered the exact same. And that is such an easy way to brand your blog. For me personally, I use Pilot Madeline's presets, the USA pack, and most specifically Hawaii Brekkie, but I still have to fiddle around with it a little bit to get it exactly the way I want. I want to show you what some of these images look like before and after putting a preset on them in Lightroom, because it is pretty remarkable. So here is the before, here is the after. Holy cow. And then you can really easily save your new preset and just go back and overlay that on all of your photos. So I'll leave a link to those presets in the description below, because I know a lot of people do ask what presets I use, and that is it. I always start with Hawaii Brekkie. All right, the next thing I do, and this is specifically for Instagram, is I use the app Snug to see what my feed is going to look like with the new images that I'm plugging in. What your feed as a whole looks like is very important to converting casual people who are just stopping by your page to followers. Everything needs to look like it goes together. This is also really important when you start working with sponsors. You know, they're gonna want to find brands that really align with their brand. So just seeing your feed as an overall whole, consistent, is very important. So Snug, you can plug all of your photos in, you can move them around, and I will not post a photo onto Instagram without having plugged it into this app first. It is so important. I think it's like 99 cents or $1.99, but the link will be in the description below. When it comes to your blog, you want that to coincide too. You want your email list and email marketing and your blog and your social channels and your media kit and your business card. You want all of those to be branded the same. So when it comes to looking for a blog theme, I personally use a self-hosted WordPress site, and I just went online and searched feminine blogs, and I will also include that in the link description below, the theme that I use on my site. And it's just nice because when you're blogging, a lot of it is imagery. So you do want a nice white backdrop. You don't need a million bells and whistles. You need a search bar. You need a site that's easy to navigate. You need links to everything in very obvious places. I always include mine at the top of a blog post. Once you've got your imagery and your branding down, it is time to focus on a consistent posting schedule. This is important because your followers will come to expect when they can find content from you. So if they come to your blog and you haven't posted in a while, it can turn followers off. They'll be less likely to revisit your site. Start with what you feel comfortable with. If you are comfortable posting 2 blog posts a week, always post them Tuesday and Thursday at 8 a.m. or something along those lines. On Instagram, I typically post twice a day, once midday, once mid-evening, and on my blog, I typically post 2 to 3 times a week. But I can see how the analytics dip when you're not sticking to your posting schedule. So I've said everything is the most important tip, but this one will really set you apart from other bloggers, and that is to be real. And I mean that in a number of different senses. First of all, I mean it in the sense of like, have an authentic voice, be an authentic person, get to know your followers, and let your followers get to know you on a personal level. I've found that I get the most feedback from more personal posts, like ones about my wedding or my struggles with anxiety, etc. People can really get to know me as a person and not just photos on their phone. So share your story with people. When your followers get to know you, they trust you, and that is so important to this whole topic of being real, is you never want to ruin the trust that you establish with your followers. The easiest way to destroy this trust is to shove products and links down your followers' throats that you yourself are not passionate about. It is fun when people start reaching out and they want to send you free things and they want to pay you to post things, but do not do it if it is not something you actually use or you actually wear or you actually love, because your followers will be able to see through it. Do not lie to them. Do not destroy the trust that you build between you and them. I turn down more sponsors than not because they don't align with my brand. Things like hair gummies. Y'all know I have extensions, so I'm not gonna tell you guys that I'm growing these long, luscious locks from a hair gummy. Or like teeth whitening products. My dad was a dentist, so I just listen to what he says. Or, you know, the number one thing that I get is like panties or tampon companies. Yeah, we all need panties and tampons. It's just something that I personally feel like doesn't align with my brand, so it's not something that I'm going to talk about. So being real can be taken a step further into the images that you're sharing on your blog and your social media channel. I work with Reward Style, and they provide us some sort of continuing education courses, and they have found that more often than not, mirror selfies outperform a highly stylized image. For me personally, I love following bloggers who really put an effort into their images and creating an aspirational life. So you'll see on my page, I occasionally do a mirror selfie, but for me personally, it's more about getting beautiful imagery in different places that I'm visiting or around the city I live in. All right, next up is something that has changed recently, and that is the importance of your Instagram stories. Up until recently, I would have suggested putting the majority of your time into perfecting your Instagram feed, and I do think that's important still. But honestly, Instagram stories are becoming equally as important, if not more important, to driving traffic to your blog. You should be posting at least 3 Instagram stories a day, if not more. Nothing crazy. I get turned off by like a bazillion little dots at the top of the page, but do make sure that you're branding them the same as your social channels and your blog. When it comes to your stories, keep in mind that people aren't following you as a favor to you. So when you're crafting these stories, create content that you yourself would be interested in watching. Don't shove links down your followers' throats. It doesn't need to be a sales pitch on a sales pitch on a sales pitch. Do a nice mix of your personal life, products that you're interested in, tutorials, etc. And what's great are there apps that can really improve your Instagram stories. My favorite apps are InShot, Unfold, and Kira if I'm feeling fancy. So once you feel like you are posting consistently and your blog and your social channels look great, I hate to drop this one on you guys, but you are gonna have to spend some money to make money. And I certainly don't mean it in the sense of investing in loop giveaways or buying followers or anything like that. It will come back to bite you in the butt. Like I said earlier, I think it's important to have a nice theme. There are thousands out there that are under $100. And Lightroom and Photoshop, again, not a very expensive monthly charge. When it comes to what you're sharing on your feed, yeah, people are gonna be reaching out and sending you products, but there are gonna be things that you wanna share that you personally are passionate about that you will have to spend your own money on. I'm not saying go get a new wardrobe, go get all new accessories, all of that, but if you're looking to make affiliate commission, it does help to have products that have recently been released so you can link to them and your followers can buy them now. And while it's definitely possible to create great imagery on an iPhone, if you are serious about blogging, I would say at some point to invest in a DSLR. I personally have a Nikon D750 with a Sigma lens, and I will share the website below, but what I do is I will rent a body and I'll rent a lens and I'll try them out, see if I can master them, see if it's worth the investment, see if it's creating the images I want before I ever pull the trigger on it. And honestly, both this body and this lens I bought used and they work the exact same as brand new. So piggybacking off of what we just discussed, I can't stress enough that you guys need to dedicate your time wisely. The great equalizer is time. Each day when I'm putting together my schedule, I always think about how my time is best spent. I know when a lot of people start blogging, they find these websites that say various things about, you know, comment pods and like groups and engagement, yada, yada, yada. I don't think that's the best way to spend your time. Would you rather spend an hour liking a bunch of random accounts that you don't care about? Or would you rather spend your time learning more about your DSLR and perfecting your photography, or learning about videography and starting a YouTube channel, or researching search engine optimization and figuring out how to move your posts higher up in Google rankings? While it is great to comment on posts and engage with your followers and with your fellow bloggers, I do think your time is best spent wisely, always learning. So I've sort of touched on this here and there throughout the video, but search engine optimization is a game changer. What's cool about blogging is we have active income that comes from sponsorships and what we are currently posting, but we also have this awesome little thing called passive income, and that is all the affiliate links that we have sprinkled in all of our old posts that are still working for us and earning us commission. My 2 highest performing posts are one about hunter boots and what to know before buying them, and the other one is about Charleston and gives you a 3-day itinerary. Those are 2 topics that people are always searching for on the internet and have been for years, so they drive the majority of the traffic to my blog. I think they're probably about equal with my social media. And while I could dedicate an entire video to SEO because there is so much to cover, the importance of alt image tags and how the crawler is going through your site and how it's indexed and keywords, and there is so much. So I would say dedicate your time, just like my last tip, to learning about SEO, because What's great is after you've been blogging for a few years, I can take a week off and still make money from my old posts. And finally, for my last tip, and this has been the best part about blogging, is get to know your community, get to know other bloggers. What is so awesome about bloggers and influencers is we are all hardworking self-starters. And you know, you are the company you keep. So when you're surrounded by like-minded, hardworking people, it just makes you work harder. It gives you an outlet to bounce ideas off of, and it just helps you be the best blogger you can be. What people don't usually realize about blogging is how lonely it is. I work from home. I rarely see people all day. So having a text message group where I can chat with my fellow bloggers is just everything. So when companies start reaching out about store openings, events, conferences, etc., I would highly encourage you, especially if you're just starting out, to go and get to know your community. All right, if you've made it this far, thank you. Y'all are awesome. You are obviously wanting to hit the ground running blogging. I have to say, like, blogging is a dream job. I cannot believe I get to wake up and do this every day and set my own hours and just have an outlet that I can dump all of my creativity into. So if you love photography, if you love writing, if you love networking, marketing, connecting with your community, I would highly suggest starting a blog. Honestly, the hardest part is just hitting publish on that first post and putting it out in the world. It's really a snowball effect from there. And if y'all have your own blog, be sure to leave it in the comments below. I want to check all of them out, and I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching.